Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's John lacalameto here, and this is my narrative story. And the title's called This Is Then and This Is Now. Or that was then, this is now, yada yada, same thing. But, it's about this story. There's this guy named Mick and Max. They were little kids. They grew up and played together. And then Mick's dad dies in a car wreck and he got real sick. Like, he died, and then his mom got sick. But before his mom got sick, Max lived with his dad and mom, and his dad got real drunk one night, killed his mom with a gun, then shot himself in the head. And then Max ran over to the house, and they just like adopted him, basically took him in. So they just go around, running around the gas stations. They would beat up people. They were kind of racist a little bit, but that was back in the old days. But they're like, that's wrong, and they would beat up hippies for no reason. Like, there were a couple of troublemakers, like, I don't know how to say it. They were just not the greatest kids, but their mom got sick. So Mick worked at this restaurant, actually at a bar. He was barely old enough. It was when you were allowed to drink at 18, and he just lied, and he had fake IDs, and he knew the bartender real good, and him and Max would go down there, play pool and hustle and win money, like lie, say they're not good and then win. But other than that, like, his mom got cancer, and Meg doesn't have a job, so he always comes home with a lot of money and gives it to him. And you're like, all right. And they always been smoking cigs together and all that, because I don't know, they're just brothers to take the edge off, and he's been through a hard life. And then Mick, he goes to the hospital, like, to visit his mom, and Max is upstairs talking to this kid who's sick because his mom wanted him to. And he meets this girl named Annie. And Annie has a little brother named Eminem, and they know Eminem from the store they always go to, because he'll be eating the bag of M&Ms. He's just like a weird kid, and he like stays out of trouble and all that. And like later through the story, he turns into a hippie, like in the middle, and he starts smoking pot, doing acid and all that. And then, but before then, he met his sister. They were talking all that, and they went to the dance. And Max was there, and he was drunk, and then this guy hit him with the beer bottle on the head, and he almost died. So they took him to the hospital. They patched him all up. He was fine. He's like, I don't want to get him back, I'll just stop, because this is wild. I don't even like this life anymore. And then Mick was like, yeah, me too, Max. We shouldn't be doing this anymore. So they get their act together and all that. So, middle through the bug, like, Mick loves this girl, loves her, and Max is getting jealous, because they always hanged out since they were little kids, like, oh, she's taking my brother away and all that. So one night, Eminem comes up missing, because he ran away from his home because his dad always teased him and made fun of him. So he goes to this hippie house where all the hippies are and smoke weed, and you can just stay there like, peace, babe, and all that. So later through the book, and like Max is like, I know where Eminem is, and they're like, why didn't you tell me this? He's like, I don't know. One of my friends told me he was here, and he's like, oh, they get to the house, and they're Mick's upstairs, and then they go upstairs, and he's sitting there like, he's tripping on LSD. He's like losing his mind. I think the spiders all over him and stuff, and like, his sister's crying, like, oh my god, he's a loony. And he's like crazy for a long time, and then he finally comes back to earth, and he's like, I'm never doing that again. And then at the very end of the book, Mick is like, I don't get how you can get all this money that you get. And then like they start getting an argument and all that, and then he goes to get a pack of cigs, and where the carton of cigs he has is a bottle of pills that Max been selling, and he just flipped out because Eminem was doing drugs. He thought he had something to do with that. So he's like, Max, I called the cops, you're going to jail. And Max felt so betrayed. He was just sitting there. He's like, alright, he didn't do nothing. He got sentenced to 5 years in prison. And then his brother came to visit him, and he's like, you're to ever be my brother again. He's like you said, This is that. That was then, and this is now. That's my story, guys.